And welcome back. So we haven't had a lot of sun here for the last month or two. Very many cloudy days. And the minute the sun comes out, it seems my attention is immediately drawn to it. In the same way that when you don't see someone you really care for a long time, and you see them and you immediately feel, wow, your attention is flowing in their direction. In that same way, the sun, like it is today, draws a lot of of your attention in. I haven't been making a lot of videos. In a video, you need to, don't need to, but one of the main ways we get our message across is verbally. And I haven't made a lot of videos because a verbal message for a lot of people doesn't penetrate. It doesn't get deep enough. A person can play around with the ideas. You might like it. You might not like the idea. You can agree. You can disagree. Anything I convey to you in the form of language is going to be in the realm of duality. You either like what I'm saying or you don't like what I'm saying. And you can form an opinion about me based on your likes and your dislikes. And that happens to all of us, most of us, whether we like it or not on some level. So when you listen to any kind of spiritual talk, anything like this, you have two ways to listen. And that's one, you can listen in the way that I just mentioned, where you are an entity separate from me, and as I'm saying things, you agree or disagree. So you look from a point where you're judging right or wrong, right or wrong, right or wrong, yes, no, like, dislike. Another way to look at it, another way to listen to these sort of videos is to listen to yourself while you hear the words, the expressions, the tone of voice, and so on. Because sometimes it's not what is said, sometimes it's how it's said. And you'll notice that a certain arising of an intense feeling of he's wrong or no will come up in you sometimes when certain people say certain things. So you can see your triggers. You'll notice what will trigger you. So it brings to the surface certain things within you that you may not have remembered, or that you may have buried down and you keep pushing down because you don't want to face it. When looking at and listening to these types of videos from the second point of view, where you're not criticizing or judging what is being said, but looking at yourself instead, it can feel very painful, because you're going to notice that the judgment arises regardless. But when you're not attached to the outcome of the judgment, where you don't say he is this and I am that, and you're identified with it, when you just look at your mind doing that, and you can somehow detach yourself slightly, recognizing that it's not you that judges me or what is being said, but it's a habit that we formed of communication, a form of communication that we use that is sloppy at best. If you listen to how people communicate, a lot of the problems and issues that we have are due to our poor communication skills. So certain things I say may trigger you. If you're listening to it in the first sense, you're going to like or dislike me. If you're listening to it in the second sense, you're going to witness the arising of duality within you, and you can simply feel and then allow the transmutation to happen. So anytime someone talks about these sort of things, and it doesn't matter if it's spiritual, it could be anything, there's always an opportunity for you to listen in that way so that you can get past a lot of the immature communication and way of being, if you will, the immature form of, I don't know what you want to call it, being with other people, communicating with other people, immature way of seeing other people. So I haven't made a lot of videos lately because I understand that most people, when they hear another person talk in a video, if they're looking for, help spiritually, then a lot of times they're looking to agree or disagree. And usually we align ourselves with the people we agree with, and we close off our bubble to those we don't. So when I think of recording a video as of late, I don't feel as though anything I'm going to say is deep enough. I don't feel as though anything I'm going to say really has any kind of power or impact. The impact and the power in what someone says is inside of you. When you recognize something, you hear someone say something that clicks with you, it's not them that's causing that click or anything else. In the same way that the sun is always shining, there's a part of you inside that's aware of these sort of things. The message that is really, the message that's in here, in me, that really wants to come out, is that it's time to stop listening to people. And I don't mean listening to your loved ones, like, would you mind doing the dishes? Yeah, sure, dear. Not talking about that. You're here watching me, listening to me talk, and there's probably a lot of other people that you listen to talk. And if you don't go inside yourself to discover, then you don't grow. If you're just watching videos like this in order to accumulate information in your mind, to know something, well, information is not knowing. Just in the same way that you can read as many books about driving a car as you can, but the minute you get behind the wheel the first time, you're going to be nervous. You might feel prepared, but once you start driving, you're going to recognize, oh look, I thought it would be easier, or I thought it would be harder. The point is, you're only going to learn the reality of it for you once you discover the experience of it inside yourself. So I really encourage you to stop listening to these videos. Stop listening to other videos. I mean, not completely, but separate yourself and see if you can just be who you are. It's a time to stop listening to other people in order to find out who you are or what you should do or who you should be. It's a time to just drop all of that bullshit. Look inside yourself and find you. You're there. You're already there. You're already being. It's time to discover who you are. Not to say I am this or I do that, so that's no I ams, just to simply discover yourself. Find out where you've been fooling yourself in the realm of identifying with I am this, or I own this, or this is the job I have, or I know this. Simply identifying instead with the essence of your being. And we all have that essence. So look in. Shut this video off. Okay? I have nothing to say. I really have nothing to say. The feeling in me is just, I just want to sit here in front of the camera and say nothing. And that's the problem with communication with people. I could sit here and say nothing, and a few people would get it. Very few. Most likely nobody that watches these videos. But the message, the point of silence, is to show you that you need nothing. You don't need any more information. You don't need to learn anything else. There's nothing else you can learn that will get you closer to who you are. It's time to put down learning and to start discovering. Okay, I'll leave you with that. So wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is that you're watching this video, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Peace.